So I'm standing here in my bedroom looking out the window, and unusually for Torbay, I can see snowflakes. This is very exciting because I was planning a sea swim this morning, and it may just turn out to be my very first snow swim. So I'm walking along the seafront now. We've got a big bank of steps here on our town beach, which is great when the tide's up because you can just walk down the steps, a bit like stepping into a swimming pool. Only in February it's a lot colder than your average swimming pool. The tide's a long way out. You can see where there's banks of sand that are sticking up out of the sea, and in places you maybe wouldn't realise they were there normally. There's lots of people out today, which is nice. Lots of dogs running along catching balls, children playing. Great fun really. I'm just looking out for my friends and thinking, yep, I might be the only person having a swim today. I'm standing at the top of the steps that I normally swim from, and the sea today is about 50 metres down the sand. There's some gentle waves coming in, just little kitten waves, nothing to make you too wet, and it looks like you probably have to wade quite a long way out to get out of your depth. It might be one of those plunge in and hope for the best days today. I'm going to go down onto the beach in a minute, but first I'm going to take a photo. I always take a photo from this particular point, trying to keep a record of what it looks like through the year, and I'm quite chuffed today because it's going to be the lowest it's been of any of the times I've been so far this year. Taking you down the steps onto the beach now. There's some railings, so it's not too bad. Some of the bits of the steps are slippery, and when you've got bare feet you have to watch out for the limpets and the barnacles, so they can be a bit sharp on your toes. And down here on the sand, it's kind of reddish sand. It's got lots of bits of seaweed, and it's kind of shining in the light, which is a really weak, one of those weak wintry lights, the sort of thing you expect on a snow day. And I'm walking down towards the waves now. There's a few seagulls. There seems to be lots more seagulls here in the summer. And crows. We have lots of crows down here, and occasionally ducks, and sometimes even swans. Particularly in the morning I've seen the swan. So I'm just coming up to the waves now. I've still got my clothes and shoes on, so I'm not going to go in yet. Hopefully you can hear what it's like. Does it sound cold? Does it sound wet? Or does it sound like something you'd like to have a go at? Walking along, having a bit of a splash on the edge of the waves. The waves are so small that they're not really going to take me by surprise, although I have said that before. I wonder if I could swing to Brixham today. Beach now. I'm looking out at Berry Head. Berry Head is a beautiful place. Torbay faces east, and it's a lovely headland. It's got quite a lot of history. There's a fort up there and a lighthouse. The waves are still coming in gently. There's some seabirds here having a good poke around. I think I've scared them off. Not very noisy, so you probably can't hear them, but they're having a lovely time just bobbing on the waves. I can't see any cormorants, but quite often there are cormorants here. It was really rough the other day, and there were cormorants in the massive waves, just diving in and out. Really looked like they were enjoying themselves. I was very envious, because every time I put my head under the water at the moment, it really hurts. Definitely an ice cream head experience, despite my rather fetching orange neoprene hat. So today, even just looking at the sea is cold. I've just had to put my gloves on, and I've got my flask of tea out. I always bring a hot drink when I come swimming. A little bit of warmth afterwards can do the world of good. Funny thing is, it's so cold, but I got it out and the tea's too hot to drink. It's such a good cup. I normally put a drop of cold water in the top, and I forgot to do that this morning. The other thing was, as I started to blow it, my glasses misted up. But the glasses have cleared again now, and I'm just sitting on the bottom of the step contemplating the view, and it really is lovely. Very peaceful, very calm. It's like two worlds here. There's a lot of traffic on the road behind me, but in front of me the sea just stretches on forever. I don't think I'll swim forever today though. Recently I've been aiming for 15 minutes. I suspect a 5-minute splosh will be all that I manage, and then I'll be out again feeling cold and hoping my tea's cooled down enough to drink it. I'm just sitting here drinking my tea and thinking about what on earth I'm doing here, and why I'm not still at home on the sofa reading my book, which was what I was doing half an hour ago. It's quite chilly, to be honest. I've got my big down jacket on, so I won't freeze to death, but it's quite chilly, and the sea looks even colder. I can just see a sailing boat on the horizon. It's not a dinghy, but it's not a yacht, something in between. It's just come out from around the side of the harbour, and they're obviously enjoying getting outside as well today. thinking about the logistics. I've got my swimming costume on already, which means I haven't got to do too many difficult changing things to get ready to get into the sea. But I'm not sure where to leave my bag. Normally I leave it up by the wall, and it's normally quite safe there, but the sea's a long way away from there today. Then again, if I leave it down on the beach, I'm not sure I know enough about what the tide's up to make sure that my bag doesn't get washed away, or indeed that I don't get washed away. Things to ponder. What I do know is that when I get back out of that water, I'm going to be so chilly in the wind that I'm going to want to get my dry robe on and get warm as soon as possible. If you don't know what a dry robe is, it's a very clever thing. That is a towel with arms and a hood, and you slip it over your head, you put it on as soon as you get out of the sea. You can take your swimming costume off and you're nice and warm, which isn't strictly true, because nice and warm would suggest that you were at home in the bath. But nice and warm in the sense that 90% of your body is protected from the wind and you're already starting to get dry, and you haven't got your wet swimming costume anymore. It's bright red, so I look a bit like Santa Claus. Sometimes I manage to get it on in my hurry the wrong way round, so I put the hood up and discover I can't see anything, and then have to sort it all out again. Surprisingly difficult to get changed underneath. I found that bras are a bit tricky, so I don't bother with those very often. I can get a vest top on, but I've learnt if you wear a vest top that you can pull up over your bottom half. That's much easier than trying to wriggle it down over your head underneath your dry robe. Not sure if I'll be able to record myself getting changed later. It might be too cold, but we'll see how I get on. I've started the getting changed process, and I have to say the worst things are always the feet and the hands. So I've taken my boots off and my lovely thermal socks off, and I stuck my wetsuit shoes on. I thought I was going to be brave today because it's all sandy and just go in barefoot, but far too much even just standing on the wet sand. I haven't got even anywhere near the water yet. So I've got my jeans off. I'm sitting here in my thermal leggings and my fleece, thinking, is it time to go for it now, or shall I just wait a little bit longer? Getting visited by lots of dogs. I think I've chosen a dog weeing spot to change in. One of the things you have to be careful around here is to make sure dogs don't wee on your kit when you leave your kit bag. So there's a railing here. I'm going to fasten it up. For the interests of art, I'm standing here shivering in my swimming costume, my neoprene wetsuit booties, a rather fetching orange neoprene hat, complete with chin strap, and some neoprene gloves. People are definitely looking at me strangely now. The sea looks a million miles away. I'm really not going to run in my swimming costume. That's not what I want to inflict on everybody here. So I'm going to have to walk quite briskly and then just keep walking when I get to the water's edge. Do you want to come with me? So we're heading down to the sea now. It's quite cold. I'm about halfway down the beach. We haven't got anywhere near the water yet. I think public enemy number one when it comes to cold water swimming is the wind. It's fine when you're in the water. As soon as you get out, it's freezing cold. We probably should be running, but Jill and I are walking sedately and in a ladylike manner down the sea. We're going to try running. We're running! We're running, everybody! Look, we are actually running down the beach, but the sea's a long way away, so I think we might stop running any minute now. We're still running. Alright, we've stopped running. We're nearly there now though. That worked quite well. Going through a bit of that sand that's all bumpy and thumpy on your feet, but we've both got little shoes on, so we should be alright. Such a long way, but we're nearly there. Right, we're entering the ocean. Can you hear us? Any minute now I'm going to have to give the phone back to Jill's husband because it's going to get wet. But it's quite cold, but it's not the coldest it's ever felt. It's about up to the knees now, which is bearable. My fingertips aren't in yet, which is good news for the phone. The sea is still that sort of murky, greeny grey colour, and it feels like we've almost walked out to the rock. Right, it's cold. I'm going to take the phone back now. See ya! Now I look like I'm escaping back out of the sea, abandoning Jill to her fate and the seagulls. I promise I'm not doing that, although it feels a lot colder coming out because the wind catches your legs and you start to shiver. I'm going back in as soon as I possibly can. Right, so I'm standing here in my dry robe, shivering. It was a lovely swim, but oh gosh, it was cold. One of the coldest I've had in ages and ages. the sea actually looked like snow. I'm convinced there was snow in it at the same time as me. So I'm standing here, half of me's wet, some of me's getting dry. I look a bit like Santa Claus. I'm going to go now and get some proper clothes on. Okay, so I'm still on the beach. I've got dressed, and to be honest, I'm really cold. My right foot is completely numb. I've got all my clothes on, and I've got my big down jacket on, and I'm still a bit shivery, but oh my goodness, that was a lovely swim. I really enjoyed it. I'm off now for a brisk walk and a cup of coffee.